Welcome to DCL Talk Show on DCL Radio. Today is September 12th, and we are into playoffs. To walk us through the strengths of each and every team that got into playoffs and a little bit about impact games from last week. Also, there might be some teams which we expected to make it to playoffs when our first talk show, during our first talk show, and we'll go back and check whether they made it or not. And also, there are some surprises also. Some new teams they made it to playoffs. We'll be discussing all these things today, and to talk about all these things, we have our regular analyst Imti. With that, with him, we have Ravikanth from Indus Bolts and Santosh from captain of Troy Hawks. And also, I'm waiting for Bhargav to join to give more analysis on playoff games. Okay, with that, let me welcome our analysts of the night today. Analysts of the show today. Okay, welcome to the show, Imti.
Thanks, Jagan, and I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all our listeners all over the world. And yes, rightly said, we are into the playoffs, the most exciting stage of the league for all the teams that made it to the playoffs. Hard luck to the teams that did not make it, but better luck next time. And there is always room for improvement for all the teams. So, yeah, we'll talk about last week's games and also the upcoming playoff games in more detail in the show. And I would also like to welcome both our guests for tonight, Ravi and Santosh.
Thank you, Imti.
Thank you, Imti.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jagan, for inviting us
today. Okay. I'll formally invite you guys individually to the show. Okay, welcome to the show, Ravi.
Hello everyone. This is Ravi. I'm captain of Indus Bolts. So today we are going to discuss in detail analysis of the playoff teams and the impacted games of last week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to the show, Santosh.
Thank you, Jagan. Thanks for having me here tonight. And good evening to all the listeners of DCL Radio.
Okay. First of all, before we get into all these discussions, we will start today's discussion with congratulations to all those teams which made it to the playoffs of DCL 2019. Okay. With that, let's quickly jump into one discussion, then one important discussion. That is, I'll start with Imti. Imti, whom do you think missed out this year in the playoffs?
I think most of the teams that we expected to make it to the playoffs did make it, except for a couple of teams. I think if we look at the pools, I think from Pool A, we were expecting MI Rangers and Detroit Bulls probably to make it, and also FCC Agni was one of the teams. But then again, they kind of started well, but slided down throughout the season. And if Pool B, I think Falcons, the biggest miss, I would say. I think this is probably their first time that they haven't made it to the playoffs, if I am correct. And that is the biggest miss, I would say. And if we look in Pool C, I think pretty much everybody that we thought would make it made it to the playoffs from Pool C. So I think just talking about these teams, Falcons is the number one team that definitely were expected to play the playoffs but missed big time. And then from Pool A, like I said, teams like Detroit Bulls, MI Rangers, and FCC Agni, who did make it to the playoffs last year, missed out this year. So I think these are the four teams that I would really say missed out the chance.
Okay, before I go to Ravi, I have first comment from one of our listeners, regular listeners, Satish, captain of Legends. He said Agni is expected to make it to the playoffs, but it missed. Okay, Ravi, your thoughts?
My primary teams are Falcons and MI Rangers. So if you look into the middle of the season or late the season, so these two are well in position to make the playoffs. But Falcons has a good chance, and they missed out on last match. So even though they missed out chasing 60 runs, so that's the big setback for the Falcons. So, and one more thing is MI Rangers. If you take the first, I'd like to say 7 or 8 matches, they are in second or third in the pool. So the last 4 matches, they lost badly to Detroit Bulls and Panthers. That give them that lost their hope. So my primary biggest reasons for this season of missing players are Falcons and MI Rangers. These two are the primary teams. Have a good chance to make the playoffs till the end, but with MI Rangers and Falcons losing out, that give us opportunity to the lot of teams, especially Detroit Bulls, MCC Miles, Troy Hawks, and there are a couple of teams into the picture, FCC Agni. So these teams come into the picture once the Falcons and MI Rangers keep losing at the end of the season.
Okay, before I go to Santosh, and at one point of time, even India's Bulls had a chance to get into the playoffs. What went wrong?
Jagan, I would like to say we started really bad at the beginning of the season, so that throws us out of the competition, I think, midway to the season. So if you take our team at the midpoint, I think we only have 2 wins and 4 losses. So we missed the opportunity against some mid-tier teams like FSCC and SSK. I would like to say these two are the primary teams that we missed out. So that's where we lost our chances to making into the playoffs. But to the end of the season, we played really good cricket and we won like 4 out of 5 games. At least that gave us a chance. But losing in the middle of the season, that really badly, that throws our chances.
Okay, and SSK is also, we expected SSK to play better, and I thought they'll make it to the playoffs. Somehow they could not, anyhow. And it's very difficult in that group to make it to playoffs. With that, I'll go to Santosh. Santosh, your thoughts?
Well, Jagan, I thought, Falcons is a team, that is conspicuous by their absence in the playoff stage. I can say because going by form and the excellent team combination, the seniority, everything, one wouldn't fathom, the playoff stage missing a team like Falcons. And, I think, a couple of games really went wrong for them, including the game against SSK, which I was there, I was watching, I was next to their ground. And MI Rangers also, I think, they had all the trappings of making it to the, playoffs. That is one. These are the 2 teams I thought, missed out from, these different pools. And coming to Pool C, MCC Miles, going by their performances over the last few years, I thought, MCC Miles would make the grade. Even though, we didn't really, discount ourselves. We thought we had a really good team this year, and we wanted to give it a good shot at that. And we somehow, even though it was, tough, finally making it to the playoff stage, we succeeded.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you make it to the playoffs, you should pat yourself, in the tough pool, especially. Okay.
Yeah.
And MCC Miles had their chances. All they had to do was beating the GLCC, but it was very close game, and it's unfortunate that one team has to lose. Okay, with that, let's get into before I get into the next segment, surprise entry into the playoffs, I happen to talk with Shravan of MI Rangers. He thinks it's one game that probably knocked them out of playoffs, and that is it's the game against Strikers. Okay, And with that, I'll go to Imti to ask about surprise. Which team surprised you most by making it to playoffs?
Definitely at the beginning of the season, in the very first show of this season, I think we did not have Troy Hawks in our list. And I think that is one team that really surprised us all. And throughout their absolutely brilliant performances, I think made it to the playoffs. Congratulations to them. And I think they really deserve this spot this year. And we have been talking in different episodes where we said like the most improved team for this season was Troy Hawks, along with SSK and also Stingers for a bit. But Troy Hawks, like we said, have put up some amazing performances and got those victories and got those crucial points and made it to the playoffs. So I think that was one surprise. And the other teams, I think, pretty much were having their like positions almost like we kind of guessed that it would make it to the playoffs. And like you said, like Falcons was one team that missed out. So I only see one team as a surprise in this list of 16 teams.
Okay. So what's your opinion on Panthers? Like, when they started it very badly, and nobody thought, I mean, at least I never thought they'll make it to the playoffs. But yet again, Mishraji proved me wrong, and he was able to come up with a very good team, which easily made it to the playoffs.
Yes, correct. Because halfway through the season, we were thinking that Panthers kind of started off very badly, and they made their chances, they made their hopes were bleak looking at the remaining games that they had. But again, like always, Deepak Mishra has produced some great players in his team throughout the seasons, and I think even this season he has a new superstar in Shubham Toshar, and I think he has got some consistent performances from his players and got the much needed victories, and that momentum has carried them all the way into the playoffs. So I think kudos to Panthers, because halfway through the season, we definitely did not think that Panthers would make it to the playoffs. So I think it's a great achievement, and they are in this top 16. So they are a team to look out for.
Before I go to Ravi, and there's another message from Sandeep Gopu, and he felt MCC Miles had a good chance to make it to playoffs, but unfortunately missed it. And Troy Hawks really played well, good cricket all season. Felt was one of the teams to watch. Okay, that's the comment from Sandeep Gopu, and he's also congratulating Santosh and his team for making it to the playoffs. Okay, and
thank you, Sandeep.
And so again, Satish, Legends captain, says Panthers is another surprise for him. Okay, and with that, I'll go to Ravi. Ravi, your thoughts?
Definitely, a surprise team is Troy Hawks, and I would like to congratulate Santosh and the Troy Hawks to making it the playoffs. If you look into the halfway to the season, they are not in the contention, but they pull through each and every match. They have tough matches at the end of the season, and they won every match at the crucial point of the time. So, and one more thing is Panthers, definitely. So the wins against the Canton 11, that was a close match. Even though they scored 170 odd runs, that was a close match. And the next match is against MI Rangers. I think those two matches changed the Panthers season. So that gave their momentum at the end of the season. And I think those two matches put them in the playoff spot, if I'm not wrong. So definitely Troy Hawk is number one, a surprising team, and Panthers is by their record. So if you look at the middle of the season, they are not into the playoffs. But if you look at they won the last 4 matches. So that gave them a momentum, and if they can show up that in the playoffs, that will be a really boost for the Panthers this year.
Okay, I'll quickly go to Santosh. Santosh, everybody is calling your team as a surprise package in the playoffs. How do you feel?
Well, I never feel, that we came into the playoffs, in a surprise manner. I thought we started off very well with our first game against MCC Miles, and then we had a very good game against Thunders. I think that really set the tenor for the team, And the Pokeries game I thought was also really close. We should have planned it better, because we had a very good team that day. Only thing is we didn't plan it well. At least we could have taken a point, bonus point. At least that was the thought we had. But overall, I thought we definitely started off well. But a couple of close games, against Rising Stars. Rising Stars, we were winning. In fact, we were winning, but suddenly all hell broke loose. That is when we lost by 1 run, and that is a couple of games also we lost crucial bonus points because we didn't plan it well. And the other game was Stingers. Stingers, we were really going, very positively. We wanted to take full points at any cost, and we were really cruising at one stage. Before, we lost wickets in a heap. I think, until 20th over, we were in command. And 1 over, I saw the loss of four wickets. Otherwise, we would have sealed our fate. Not fate, but sealed our spot, then and there itself in that game against Stingers. But, for bad luck, we were kind of stung by the Stingers, I can say. It was a good game, though. And Stingers really executed it well in the end.
Basically, you think it's not the surprise?
No, because I should really say, I should really say, we have a bunch of committed individuals, talented players. They gave their best. They performed well. I mean, I never had any kind of doubt about them. That we are not going to perform well at all in the season.
Okay, so
it's
your ability. End of the day, ability is what brings
only
you.
Thing is we lost that momentum in the middle. That's the only thing I can say.
Okay, and before we get into talking about impact games of last week, I have a nice message from Vijay Khammam, the captain of Kings 11. Falcons' downfall started with us. With the game against them. Okay, later they started losing back and forth most of the games, and we want to get credited for that one. That's what he's saying, and he thinks it's the game against Rockers which went bad for them. Otherwise, they would have made it to playoffs. That is a statement from Vijay, Kings 11 captain. Okay, Imti, do you have anything to say on that?
Well, you mean Vijay's statement?
Kings 11. That is the first game they lost.
Yes, true. That is the first game that they lost, but I think Falcons really lost it when they lost the game against SSK because Kings 11 was still initial stages of the season. It could still be considered as an upset at that point. Yes, but Falcons is a team that always had good comebacks, and in the second half of the season, they really come back when it matters and made it to the playoffs all the time. But this year, somehow that did not happen because they had some good games lined up in the end, and unluckily, they couldn't make it. So, yes, definitely the first loss, but maybe half the credit should go to Kings 11.
Kings 11. Okay. And immediately there was a message from Satish. He said, unlike any other year, this year, bonus point had a very big impact on playoff bound teams. Okay, especially the last ones. And Falcons missed the playoff because of that bonus point. They haven't performed well to get that bonus point to jump into playoff contention. That's from Satish.
Actually a very good point made because I think one bonus point made a difference to at least 3 teams that could have made it to the playoffs. I think Troy Hawks made it to the playoffs with 32 points in the end. Am I correct? 32, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And Detroit Bulls also, they were just looking for that 1 point in the last game against Blazers, and they were still in contention if they had got that 1 point. And I think another team that missed it was Falcons, right? Like couple of bonus points here and there could have made them qualify. So
I think for the Falcons, I would like to say is, so against Legends, Satish is talking about Legends. So during that match, Falcons thought that they had that bonus point even after the match.
Oh, against Legends?
So again, yes, against
Oh,
Legends.
okay.
So they did not. Legends did not score in 21.3 as a approximate DCL suggested list, but they hit a huge 6 at the end of the over to get that bonus point.
Bonus point.
So that's where the Falcons lost the bonus point. Even if it is wide, they would have got a bonus point.
Yes, actually, I remember this discussion that I had with Hari Parankusham about this bonus point. I think the cheat sheet that DCL website has is only for a reference, because situations like this where 6 or a boundary is hit off the last ball, the calculations are not accurate according to that cheat sheet. So that should be used only for a reference and not for actual bonus points calculation, I would say. So that is that game actually.
Let me remind that Virendra Sehwag situation. That people can use that technique next year. If somebody in the last ball need 2 or 3 runs to get the bonus point, and if they can win by scoring 1 run, just bowl a no ball. If you bowl a no ball, whatever scored after the no ball will be voided. Do you guys know that?
No, but the Falcons missed the trick over there. So
yes. True.
So that is one of the bonus points they missed over there. And last match against Raptors, that's their match to win, but they lost it, even though they did not get the bonus point by 2 or 3 runs.
Okay. Before we jump into our games, 2 games that we are going to discuss, I just would like to give one of very wonderful experience that actually I learned something from last week. Last week I umpired some of the games in TDF, Telangana Development Forum games. In one of the games, even Santosh was there. Actually, Santosh helped me there. In one of the games, there was a short run on the both ends, and they took 2 runs. I thought all 2 runs will be voided, but apparently when I checked the rule, and thanks to Santosh, it's if it is a short run on both ends, it's 1 run. If they again try to take another run from there onwards, if they try for 3rd run, then all runs will be voided. That is the rule.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting.
Yeah.
Good.
Sure.
Okay, with that, let's get into our first impact game. GLCC had to get a bonus point against Blues to get into the playoffs. But last week when we discussed about that game, we thought it is going to be a very, very tough game. But by 12th over, I think when I looked at the scorecard, I was thinking it is going to be very easy for GLCC. Imti, I'll start with you.
Yes, Jagan, I think last week's analysis, it was like totally proved wrong with this game, because we were expecting it to be a tighter game with the playoff spot in line. But then again, this game totally belonged to GLCC. It was a one-sided game, all the way dominated by GLCC. I think the very first GLCC, when they won the toss, I think they Blues won the toss and elected to field. So GLCC batting first, the very first wicket partnership was 128 runs between Abhishek and Sudhir Kumar Paka, and I think that really set the tone. Abhishek scoring 69 runs and Sudhir scoring 46 runs, 128 runs partnership until the 17th over. I think that kind of totally tells the story of the game there itself, because you have a dominating batting performance like that, and then after that, chasing down that score is like a daunting task. So I think once they had those runs in the board, I think GLCC just won the game there. So I think kudos to the team because when it was such an important game, I think they brought their best guns out and made it look easy. And I think this will also give them a lot of confidence going into the playoffs. So congratulations GLCC and all the best in the playoffs.
Ravi, you want to add anything to that game?
No, I think I never doubted GLCC are not making to the playoffs, but definitely everyone thought it will little bit of closer match. But with that opening partnership, everything is out of equation. So that proved deciding for the match. So GLCC outplayed Blues from that point of time.
Yeah, Santosh, you were closely looking at this game. Okay.
Yeah, we were watching
You're
this
thinking
basically because this result basically we were interested because a loss here for GLCC would have pushed them down. I think we had a chance provided we won that last game with 5 points again, that bonus point. So we were keenly watching this, but I mean, there's no doubting the caliber of GLCC. But we were only hoping for a surprise here, which Blues didn't get that. And Abhishek, I thought he's a wonderful player. Even on his day, it's very tough to contain him. Any length, he picks it so well. And I mean, rightly he got 69 in 58 balls, and so I think there was four sixes, humongous sixes. In his innings and Sudhir, and that was a wonderful start. And no wonder GLCC got off a flying start, and they got their full points here.
Okay, at the halfway, you were thinking about the other game, Blazers versus Bulls.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'll start with you for this game. So.
Right. So, I mean, Detroit Bulls, they were ahead of us in the run rate. That was worrying us, because we needed 5 points and we needed Blazers to take full points. We were really praying, even though we were playing a different tournament in Canton, we're kind of, waiting. I mean, following this result with a kind of bated breath, I can say, and there were some technical issues also. Scores were not loading. The live scores were not loading. We were really tensed up and kind of, checking with even other people if their internet is working properly. Such was the, what do you call, desperation I was going through.
Fantastic. Okay, Ravi, your thoughts?
Detroit Bulls started really well during that match, and there was like at the 12-over mark, there were like 40 odd runs for the loss of 2 or 3 wickets. So I was playing next to their match, and I thought that okay, it's going to be a good match. And by the end of their first innings, they lost a couple of crucial wickets at the crucial point of their innings. So that killed their momentum toward the end of the innings. So eventually they scored 70 odd runs. So while chasing also, they ball good line and lengths. I think Imti can speak better about the line length because he played against them. So, but based on my understanding, they really ball good line and length, and they ball to their strategy, and they're able to get off 5 or 6 wickets. And Blazers are not able to score at their regular pace. So they were like lost couple of key wickets at the top of the innings. So eventually Blazers chased in the 21st over. If it would have been another 5 or 10 runs from Bulls, that would have been a different story for them. But 76 with this in this era of this new ball, it's really going to tough for the Detroit Bulls to contend that 76 runs.
Yeah, you're right. Now I'll go to the captain of Blazers. Your thoughts on this game?
Yes, Jagan, I think like last week we were talking Detroit Bulls versus Blazers was one of the key games that would decide the playoff spots. And like most of the teams were actually waiting for this result, I think, because lot of teams depended on the result of this game. And I think to start off with, Detroit Bulls coming into this game were missing some of their key players, I would say, because when I looked at the lineup, I did not see players like Jagdish and also another bowler that they had, which I thought
Jagdish
was
was missing?
surprising. Sorry?
Jagdish was missing from the game?
Yeah, Jagdish was not there, and also I can't remember the name, but there is a tall bowler.
Challu?
No, not Chalu. One of the fast bowlers. Like the idea is there. Like I saw that some key players were missing. Probably they were hit by some availability issues, so that really did not help their cause because it was a must-win game for them, and they started off the game well. They won the toss. They decided to bat, and I think they started off well because halfway mark they were 40 odd runs for the loss of two wickets, and they were looking at a good they had a good foundation and they were looking at a good score of 100 plus runs at that point. But I think Blazers on the other hand, they were coming off of a 2 or 3 week break, and then were definitely rusty in the bowling department. The way they bowled in the first half of the 12 overs, and also by the end of the innings they conceded 21 extras. That really says that they were rusty and they really couldn't have the same impact that they had in the previous games. But I think the key moment was the second half of Detroit Bulls innings, where Blazers came back strongly, picked up some good wickets at good intervals of time, and that really put some brakes on the scoring. And there was a period of innings where there were like at least 26 or 27 dot balls on a trot, and that really put some pressure, and that got the scoreboard stuck at one point, and that increased the pressure. They lost some wickets, and they couldn't really pick up the momentum in the last few overs, and they ended up scoring 84 in the 25 overs. They did not lose all the wickets, but still they were restricted to 84. So I think that is where slightly the confidence kind of was sliding down for Detroit Bulls. But halfway through the mark, I think they still reset their targets. They knew that they were still in contention, even though even if they cannot win it, they can still be in contention with that bonus point. So they really started off bowling with their available bowling lineup, and but unfortunately the start that they intended did not happen in the bowling department. And Blazers, I think, started off with a flyer. They were going at five and a half runs per over for the first 5 to 6 overs, and that gave Blazers some confidence, and they were trying to play freely. In the process, they lost some wickets, and then Bulls really put some pressure and tried to stop the scoreboard moving, and in the process picked up 5-6 wickets. But the score was too less for them to restrict, and at one point they were desperate to just get that bonus point, and they were trying all their best. They were diving around, saving every possible run. But I think at that point, Blazers still had the option for power play, and that is where I think we took the power play and we got those runs within the allotted overs, and also got the bonus point. So I think they were really down and under with their missing players. Definitely, if they were there in the game, I think they would have had a very good chance. And maybe in the batting, if they had 15-20 more runs, it would have been a different game altogether.
So is that starting a new rivalry from next year onwards? Bulls versus Blazers?
I'm not saying anything about that.
Okay. But I mean, Sandeep Gopu is trying to help you. The other bowler that's missing is Soju Abraham.
Yes, correct. Soju Abraham. Yes.
Okay. And with that, we will get into our predictions. These predictions are you guys have to give strengths and weakness of each team. and then predict it. Okay, that's how we are doing it. And before we do that one, I want to ask you guys one quick question. Which game you guys think is going to surprise the league? Which game do you guys think is going to surprise the league? And it's the same question to the listeners also. Whoever listening this show, please call. Either you can call or you can text me with your answer. Which game is going to surprise DCL in this first round of playoffs, pre-quarters? I think Bhargav joined us. Welcome to the show, Bhargav.
Hi Jagan. Hi guys. How's everybody doing?
Okay, so we just started predictions. This is how it is going to be. The first question to all of you guys is, which game is going to surprise the league? Okay, I'll read out the games. Strikers versus KRCC, Brownstone versus Knockers, FCC versus Indus Thunders, Troy Hawks versus Gladiators, Canton 11 versus Raptors, Rockets versus Pokeries, Panthers versus Blazers, GLCC versus Legends. Which game? I will start with, okay, I have one answer already from Sandeep Gopu. He thinks there will be a surprise between Rockers versus Pokeries. That game might surprise the league. Okay, and with that, Imti.
So if I'm understanding your question correctly, are we just talking about the win?
Surprise game.
Win?
Surprise game, which is going to surprise the league.
Well, again, like I wouldn't want to make a call on that because all the 16 teams that made it to the playoffs are here because of their performances, and surprise here means we are really saying some team is an underdog here. Again, that being said, just based on the form perspective, I think I am at least guessing that all the top seeded teams from the form perspective would make it, and I don't see any surprises in the pre-quarters. No.
Okay, that's interesting answer, and I think Imti is trying to escape from giving a right answer there. Okay, and
Jagan, you have to watch out for the GLCC or the Legend game. So when we say Imti says higher seats.
Okay, and I have one answer here from Kings 11 Captain Vijay. He says FCC versus Indus Thunders may surprise the league. Okay, I'll go to Ravi now. Ravi.
Definitely, by looking at the close games in the playoffs, definitely Rockers versus Pokeries has a good chance of upset over there. But other than that, I don't see any major upsets. I'm not going to say Rockets is going to beat Pokeries, but definitely that might be a surprise game.
Okay. The next one, Santosh.
Jagan, what do you expect me to say? Troy Hawks is going to surprise. Surprise Gladiators.
That's a very good confidence caller. Okay. Good. I'll go to Bhargav now. Bhargav.
I don't know how you guys are viewing the Canton 11 versus Raptors game, but I think Canton 11 is a really good team this year, and I think they could beat Raptors. Whether that means it is a surprise or not is a question, because it can actually work both ways. Because Raptors have won, I think, about 8, and Canton 11 have won about 9 games. So Raptors last year, I think, were coming into this year were higher ranked than Canton 11. Given that, I think Canton 11 is going to beat Raptors.
Canton 11 is going to beat Raptors. Okay. That's
if I can just add, I was just looking at the lineups again. I think, if possible, there is one upset in my mind. Based on the seedings, I would say, because Brownstone is seeded less than Knockers. That is one game I would see if there is a chance that Brownstone might take it.
Brownstone might take it. You have to look at the history there. In I think Brownstone they haven't lost to Knockers in any of playoff games.
Yes, that is what I was thinking, because I umpired the semifinals last year, and I know how the two teams played against each other. So there is some history, like you said. So Brownstone has a slight edge there, even though they are ranked below Knockers here. Just looking at the players list, I would say Knockers, but again, Brownstone always plays good in crunch situations. So
Yeah, you're right. And I have a request from one of the listeners is that don't take the names. That way we'll be able to. Brownstone lost to Knockers in last year's semis. Yeah, maybe true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so now let's get into real serious games here, game analysis mode, and we have 15 minutes, and let's try to do it a little faster with the strengths and weakness of the teams. Strikers versus KRCC. Imti.
sorry, the comment about not taking names, I did not get it.
No, one of the listeners said, don't take our names.
Oh, okay.
We, when we're
The
saying
comment is
it's
coming.
all-
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So strikers versus KRCC, I think the key players to watch out would be definitely Kapil and Raj. Rahul Chauji, again, a very good batsman. I think these are the three key players in the batting department.
Is Vraj playing?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay. Hmm.
I did see him in one of the games, so I don't know if he qualified or not, but yes, I did see him playing in one of the games.
Yeah, he qualified for the playoffs. That I can say that.
So, and then there is this one new addition. I don't know, because I am seeing his name for the first time in strikers lineup, Shreyas, and we played against strikers this season, and I have seen this guy batting, and he has some tremendous batting abilities, I would say, and he can single-handedly definitely win games for strikers. So he's one guy to watch out for from strikers, and I think they do have a very good unit that can defeat any side on a given day. But I think they're a little bit lacking in the bowling department. If I'd say they're very well equipped on the batting side, and on the other hand, KRCC. I think KRCC has done loads of good in the season. They have had 10 games unbeaten run throughout, and then lost a couple of games in the end. But I hope their confidence is still high, and they can give a good run to strikers. Players to watch out for from KRCC is Maulik Patel. We all know how big of a hitter he is. Then Vihar Vaidya and their captain, who has all the tricks in the bag, Satish Gaba. Bowling department, I think Nalin, Parag Karwade, Ronak P. Patel, all usual suspects on there. And I think these are the players to watch out for.
Okay, Ravi, your thoughts?
Definitely, KRCC and strikers have good batting lineups this season. I think if anyone want to bat first, definitely they will take that opportunity, and they will try to score big on the others. And coming to the bowling, I think KRCC has a little bit of edge over in the bowling. So my guess is I would like to say KRCC will win this match.
Okay, fantastic. Bhargav.
I have only seen KRCC and I've only played with them. I haven't seen strikers as much. But I noticed that strikers can actually make even low-scoring games really interesting with their bowling. If they were to bat first, and even if they were to score under par, or they would, I think they would still be in the game. They keep picking up key wickets because their two fast bowlers are they're pretty good. They're very accurate with their line, and then they're able to now vary the length versus last year when I saw them. So yeah, from the striker side, I don't know many guys, but KRCC in their own right, I mean, they have done really well. Pool C was by far, I think, the toughest pool this year, and they were at the top for most of the season. So I think it's a very interesting game. It can go either way. Hard to predict.
Hard to predict. Okay. Santosh.
Yeah, my pick would be KRCC because they have very good balance right here this season. Satish is in good form with his all-round capabilities. Ashish, has been doing very well. Maulik, as Inti and others said, he can really hit the ball out of park. Vihar Vaidya has been in tremendous form too. So I mean, just of them definitely everybody will they fall around the other all these performers, and I feel Knight Riders is a team that's going to win the game.
Okay.
I have not seen coming to strikers. I have not seen them much. Parthiv, but for Parthiv and Kapil, these are the very good players, and I think they have all the abilities to do well. Yeah.
So, who's your pick? KRCC, right?
Yes, KRCC.
Okay. There was a question from Amar, and please look into NPP2 ground, as a lot of complaints about too much soil. Okay, sand. I heard. Okay, yeah. So we have asked for dragging before every game. So all four fields will be dragged and cleaned by the city before the start of each game. That means in the morning they'll drag, and after the game again for the second set of games they are going to drag again. So I'm hoping it's going to be very clean and neat. Okay. With that, let me quickly get into our next game, Brownstone versus Knockers. Imtiaz, let me ask you a different question to you. Which team has better bowling?
I would definitely go with Knockers.
Okay. Interesting. So, see, normal funda is whichever team has better bowling, they'll win the playoff games, or they'll win the DCL any game in DCL. So you mean to say Knockers are going to win?
Again, like on paper, Knockers are definitely a better team when you look at them because they have good batting and bowling strength compared to Brownstone. But Brownstone, what I was saying is on a given day, they really perform. They're like extremes of performances. So they either go down very easily or they give a very good fight and make it a one-sided game. So that is what I was saying. Brownstone completely is very much not completely but very much dependent on one guy, Mansab Butt, and it really decides the game is pretty much decided whether Mansab Butt performs or not. Whereas in Knockers, you have a few players that you can depend on and single-handedly win the games for Knockers. Like if you look at players, just impact players from both the teams, I would say Mansab from Brownstone, we have Mansab, Yasir, Saad. These are players that need to combine together and win more games for Brownstone. Whereas Knockers, if I just call out the roster, you can pretty much say that everybody is a superstar in there. Like Deepak, you have Prabhu, you have Shashank Gowda, you have Praveen Bangera, you have Aditya Kargadi, you have Hemant Chalwai, Hemant Bharadwaj this year that added into Knockers lineup. So that is what I'm saying. Like on paper, Knockers is definitely a better team, but on a given day, Brownstone can win it. So if you ask me for one pick, like I said, I would think Brownstone has the capacity to surprise Knockers.
Okay, Ravi.
No comments. I may go for this umpiring this game.
Fantastic. Okay. Santosh.
Yeah, Knockers is going to win this game, basing on their, the strength in all the departments of the game. Fielding, they're an excellent fielding side too. So their bowling, batting, and fielding, everything is, really, really balanced, and I feel Knockers is going to win the game.
Yeah, fielding is very, very important in playoff games. Whoever can field better inside the circle, I'm sure they have better chance to win the game. And Bhargav, your thoughts on this game?
My thoughts are we played Brownstone. One of the things we noticed was that almost every player can actually just come in and just start hitting sixes, right? I mean, knockers are a great. I know knockers are a very disciplined unit. Actually, they're clinical in their way of work, be it batting, bowling, or fielding. But Brownstone has the capacity to just hit sixes and finish the game also. This is also another one that's hard to pick. It depends on the day on how Brownstone shows up and how they can actually wear knocker stone. So
Okay, so
they both have even chances. Even chances in general, I think, except Gladiators, all teams in general have even chances of coming up because everybody's playing well actually.
Okay, then the next game is FCC versus Indus Thunders. Imti, your thoughts?
Well, to start off with, my pick is Indus Thunders, definitely. But I think we were talking about impact players in this game and players to watch out for. Indus Thunders, again, it is a very strong team filled with their lineup is filled with stars. If you look at players like Manoj, Chetan, Dinesh, Vijay Verma, and then they also have added Dhruv this year. So Indus Thunders is looking pretty much very balanced team. They have a right combination and right balance of both batting and bowling in their team, and if they all come together on that day, I think they will be an invincible force, I would say. On the other hand, FCC also start off the season a little wayward, but again they picked up the momentum at the right stage and have been doing very well in the second half of the league, and they have been getting those much needed victories and also the confidence going into this playoff. Players like Tejas, who is a very good all-rounder, and they have Amit in the batting department, Karthik also. I think batting depends on these three players, Tejas, Karthik and Amit. But again, in the bowling department, I think they have to depend on Hemant, Chaluvaya and Teju to pick up some crucial wickets if they have to make an impact in this game. But I will give this game to Indus Thunders.
Okay, Ravi, which team has better bowling between Indus Thunders and FCC? And your pick?
Definitely, Indus Thunder has better bowling lineup. So not only against the FCC, if you take the DCL, they might be the top 3 bowling lineups, I would like to say. So, and my pick is Indus Thunders.
Yeah, brotherhood love.
No, that's what I'm saying. I did not give any details, but just I give my pick.
Okay, Santosh.
Yeah, I would pick Indus Thunders too.
Okay.
They are very superior side.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, they're a superior side, compared to FCC. They have very good all-round, all-rounders in the team. So I would pick, Indus Thunders.
Okay, Bhargav.
I think this is one of the games that could depend on the toss. If FCC wins the toss, bats first, and scores 120 or 130, and gets some early wickets, I think it can be a very close game. But Indus Thunders is my choice too. I still expect Indus Thunders to come out of this game comfortably.
Okay, the next game of the night is most important game: Troy Hawks versus Gladiators. Okay, see, I leave Santosh. It's up to you, Santosh. If you want to predict, you can predict, or you can.
Yeah.
You can just ignore this game and
right.
Okay, Imti, your thoughts?
Well, again, this is purely based on the form perspective. Gladiators is expected to win this game. That being said, in the beginning of the season, like we never expected Troy Hawks to make it. I'm talking even before the season started. Like we did not have them in the list for playoffs, but they all surprised us with their performances and made it to the playoffs. So again, with that same statement, I would say that they have the capacity to beat on a given day any team. So Gladiators has been unbeaten throughout the season, and they have some very good players in their lineup. And if you want to win a championship, I think it is like making a statement where you say you defeat Gladiators and then then you can say that you are a real champion team. So I think that is the challenge that lies ahead of Troy Hawks if they want to further advance in this league into the next stage. I would say this is a good challenge. Uh, it should have come in maybe a later stage, but the very first playoff game that they're playing in this season, and they're coming against Glad, so that is the biggest challenge. But uh, I think Troy Hawks can beat it, can beat Glads. They have the capacity, but from form perspective, I think Glads will take this game.
David versus Goliath, classic case of that.
Yes, very good.
Thanks, Inti. Anyways, thanks for the confidence you have in us. We'll definitely try. Thank you.
Don't underestimate.
Yeah, see, you know, if Troy Hawks beat Gladiators, Troy Hawks are not just giving hope to themselves; they are giving hope to all other teams to win this cup. Okay, let me put it that way. Ravi, your thoughts on this game?
My pick is definitely Gladiators, but Troy Hawk as a good batting team, so they scored a lot of 100+ scores. So if there is a slim chance, if it's better to take Troy Hawks to take up to bat first and post a huge score and put pressure on the Glads. So that's the best they can do. But if Glads won the toss and elected to bat first, they will be in trouble from the beginning.
Okay, and just to give some confidence to Troy Hawks, if you look at their season, they struggle against lower ranked teams, but they played well against higher ranked teams. Okay, your thoughts, Bhargav?
I think Gladiators, I have seen Gladiators to be one level apart from all the other 38 teams. So I naturally pick Gladiators. But Troy Hawks has nothing to lose. They don't have, I mean, it is a knockout game. Yes, they need to do well, but they're playing the best team in the league. So I think they should just play the game freely, and if they play it without any pressure, they might, who knows, they might even get close enough to bother Gladiators, and it can be an interesting close game.
Yeah, there's nothing to lose. Okay, with that, let me go to the next game. Next game is Canton 11 versus Raptors. Imti.
Yes, this again is a very interesting matchup, I would say. But like Gladiators, I think Raptors is also a class apart team this year. They have played some real good cricket. Canton 11, on the other hand, also has actually surprised a lot of us and advanced very well. They have won some very good games in the process and actually comfortably made it to the playoffs. It's not like they were like the 15th or the 16th team that made it to the playoffs. They were actually placed third in the group in their pool, and I think it is some consistent performances from Canton 11 also. I will give it to Raptors just because of the balance of the team and like players to watch out from Raptors. I think they have a new superstar in Sri Teja, and again ever reliant Pradeep Bota, Amar, and Navpreet. They can do enough damage in the batting department, and I think Raptors again is one of the best bowling lineups that we have this season. We have Sai Manoj, Kiran Boinpalli, Satya Achanta, Harsha. So these are likes of these bowlers coming against them and scoring runs would be a difficult task for Canton 11. But Canton 11 also has some good players in Raza Ali and Naj, who can hit big and also play the waiting game. But I think the real challenge for Canton 11 would be to score runs off of Raptors bowlers. So it is Canton 11 batting versus Raptors bowling, if you ask me, in this game.
I agree on that part. Raptors, if they can bring in their, their best, they have best bowling unit. If they can bring in all those guys, it should be very easy for them. In any ways, anytime this 8-9 teams, when they play against each other, it's going to be very, very close game. Your thoughts, Ravi?
So this will be definitely a close game, and the Canton has a good batting lineup, as well as Raptors. They both rely more on the batting department, so they both have good batting lineups. And the difference in this match, as Imti mentioned, that Raptors bowling versus Canton batting. So if they cope well, they can give a surprise. But my pick will be Raptors. If they're playing best 11 from Raptors, it's really difficult to beat Raptors.
Bhargav.
Yeah, like I said earlier, this can be an upset because Canton 11 has won 9 games. They've played really well. They have basically flipped a switch that turned around from last year to this year, right? So they're doing really well. And if there are players from last year to this year, they're all in really high spirits to actually come out and win this versus Raptors, which is all they probably always knew that they would make it to knockouts anyway, right? So I know Imtiaz and the other guys said it was the Raptors, uh, Canton 11's batting versus Raptors bowling. But I thought it should be the other way around. It's Canton 11 bowling versus Raptors batting. And I mean, if Sriteja is a great player, he scored 100. I've seen him in in a cricket ball game too. So he's an amazing player. If Canton 11 gets him, then it's a pretty close game. It's no telling who will come out. I think Canton 11, because of how many games they have won and because of the spirit that they have, they may actually sail through.
Okay, I don't know whether Sriteja is playing or not. Okay, what I heard is he's out of town or out of state, something like that. I don't know whether he's playing or not, unless Amar is willing to give out his his secrets to me. Okay, Santosh, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Jagan, both the teams are really balanced in bowling and batting departments, I must say. But if the result wise, I feel Canton 11 may spring may win this game. They have very good players in Javed, Raza, and all in the bowling department. Also, they have good. It's a very good bowling lineup in Haider, Raza, Javed, and all these people. I feel they have a slight chance here, Canton 11 against Raptors.
Okay, fantastic. And we have another 3 games. I'm extending the show another 15 minutes. So sorry, listeners. Okay. The next game of the night is Rockers versus Pokeries. Okay, one of the games, which can give out a surprise to the league is what a lot of people said just before the start of this talk show. Into your thoughts on this game?
Yes, Jagan, I think this will be one of the closely contested pre-quarters, in my opinion, because both the teams are like closely matched, and if Rockers can bring their best 11, Pokeries also had a 50-50 season, I would say, because they were not dominating throughout, but they won some very close games. Like from a confidence level, I think Pokeries is not at 100% confident going into the playoffs from what I am seeing. Whereas Rockers, on the other hand, the first season that they're playing together, they put in some good performances throughout the league games, made it to the playoffs without any hiccups, and are looking good. So they have players like Sai, who is a very good all-rounder, their captain, and he's leading from the front for Rockers. They have bowlers like Narendra, Ane, Pana, and I think Rockers, if they have to worry, it is their batting department that they have to look at. I think they're covered on the bowling department with the lineup that they have. Whereas on the other hand, Pokeries, they're lacking in the bowling department, whereas they're covered in the batting department. So again, it comes down to Pokeries batting versus Rockers bowling. So Pokeries again relying on Neil and Ranjit this year. They have a good addition in Saran. their opening batsman, and you can never ever forget or disregard Vicky, because he can turn the game single-handedly either way. So with his batting or bowling, I would say. So again, coming down to this game, I would pick Poker East to win this game, but it will be a very very closely a contested game, I think.
You dearly missed one of my friends in Pokeris, Avinash Raghu. Okay. Um, there were some comments. I just would like to read out those. Abhishek Sunkari says, please convey my wishes to all the qualified teams. Okay. This is what I missed for last 2 years. Welcome back, Abhishek. Okay. And Sandeep Gopu has a comment on Pokris versus Rockers game. He feels that whoever chases are going to win this game. Okay. With that, I'll go to Ravi. Ravi, your thoughts on this game?
Yep. As I did predicted, this might be the upset of the game based on my point of view, but this will be a very close contest game, and because of the playoff experience that Pokies have, that might give the edge over Rockets in this match. In this particular match. So I would like to still go with Pokies, but this might be a chance of upset of the week.
Okay. Bhargav, your thoughts?
I happened to umpire one of the Rockers game. We played Pokeries too. We played them a couple of times actually this year. So Pokeries are very experienced. They can actually go into this game and they can follow the template and come out of this game comfortably. Rockers their captain is really good, like somebody else said, but they are a little bit younger. So it depends on how they manage the pressure situation, especially in batting after actually Pokeries get first couple of wickets, and how their middle order actually holds up is the challenge for Rockers. For Pokeries, though, I think I would pick Pokeries definitely. After Gladiators, I think they have the best chance. They're the next best team to go through. Next very likely team to go through after Gladiators in this round, I think.
Okay, your thoughts, Santosh?
Yeah, I think it's experience versus exuberance. I can say experience of Pokeries versus the exuberance of Rockers. Rockers is compared to relatively younger side, right? If I'm not wrong, Rockers is a relatively younger side, but if Pokeries, by virtue of playing in so many appearances, playoff appearances, and there are some very good players, senior players still hanging around. I don't take away anything from Pokeries. Pokeries should win this game quite convincingly.
Okay. The next game of the night is Panthers versus Blazers. I am skipping Blazers captain here. I'll straight away go to Ravi.
This will be another close game, and during the regular season, Blazers beat Panthers quite comfortably. But after that, Panthers at the end of season they won quite a few matches to make into the playoffs. That give them the momentum going into the playoffs. But with their good batting lineup and bowling lineup this year with the Blazers, Blazers will win this game with a close contested.
Okay, Bhargav.
I think Panthers is a very good batting unit. They have, I think one of the games Canton 11 scored 160 or 170 yard, and I think they defended, or they may chased it. They may have chased it down. But anyhow, they have the ability to score really highly. But again, Blazers are also a very nice team. I actually noticed along with Imtiaz there are a couple of other bowlers that are really actually playing well too, and they have two batsmen that are that have a very good temperament. They just come out, play their game, play their shots, ones, twos, and it doesn't matter what the situation is. So this is a tough one to call. I haven't seen Panthers much at all, to be honest. It's just in fleeting while I was in one of the other grounds watching them play. But I have seen a little bit of Blazers, so I don't know who to pick really. I think this is me not knowing who can actually realistically win.
Okay, Santosh.
Blazers, I think, has very good experience under their belt going into this game. Imti and Jasneet, these are very key players. They have a lot of experience, and they know they can plot the dismissals. They can, really, get the performances from the team. They know the tricks of the trade here, I can say. So I for one feel, Blazers will easily win this game.
Okay, the last game of the night is GLCC versus Legends. I'll start with Imti.
Well, this again will be a very close game, I think, because GLCC just coming off of one of their biggest wins, and Legends have been so consistent in this season that we almost knew that they would make it to the playoffs almost halfway through the season. It was that way Legends played throughout the season. So GLCC, I think to start off with, I'll predict saying that I'll pick Legends to win this game. That being said, the reason for that is because for me, GLCC hasn't been convincing this season, because all the games that they have won were either due to their bowling performances here and there, but the only game that they really dominated with the bat was their very last game against Blues. Other than that, I didn't see dominating performance from the bat. And going into the playoffs, if you want to advance into the next rounds, I think you need to have a good mix of both batting and bowling, where I did not see that from GLCC is what I am. This is my point of view again. On the other hand, Legends, they have been very consistent in both the departments. Players like Rahul, Harish, and Venu have been guiding them throughout the season with their performances both with the bat and the ball. I think Harish and Venu are the key players here, and also Praveen would be one of the key players, but I'm not sure if he's available for this pre-quarter, so that might impact their their chances. And again, Legends also depends on their bowling frontline bowler Srikanth Narne. So I think key players for me are Harish, Srikanth, Venu from Legends, and if you look at GLCC, I think Ajit, Samish, and Sudhir. These are the players to watch out for.
Okay, so you think Legends will win this one?
Yes.
Let me ask another question. If GLCC beats Legends, can we call that one as a surprise?
Yes, like I said in the beginning, based on the seedings, I did not expect any lower seeded teams to win against the higher seeded.
Yes, I get it. Ravi, your thoughts?
Definitely, this will be the game of the week, I would like to say. And GLCC has a good bowling lineup, and Legends even have better bowling lineup than GLCC. So my pick will be Legends will beat GLCC, but GLCC will have a chance when they bat first and they post good score. That will keep a Legends under pressure. So from my point of view, Legends are good at bowling than batting. So that will give a GLCC a chance when they bat first and post a good score and try to defend that score. That's the best chance for the GLCC. But Legends have far better team batting and the bowling in the bowling department. So my prediction for this one, Legends will beat GLCC.
Bargo.
This is also a very difficult game to call, actually. What's important to understand is that GLCC is coming out of Pool C and Legends is coming out of Pool B. Pool Pool C, I think was slightly more or a little bit more competitive than Pool B. Uh, so though GLCC have lost a few games, they have played a lot more tougher games than Legends may have in Pool B. So GLCC also have the experience. They are the one. I think they are one of the oldest teams in the area. So they've been around long enough to come out and turn the game in their favor. But Legends can exploit GLCC's fielding. They can easily steal doubles and triples if they're batting first or second to get themselves going before they go for the big shot. So it can go either way. Samish is probably going to scheme against all these batsmen too. So it's a very interesting game, and I think it is an equal battle. I don't think I can pick either one of the teams to make it for this game.
Santosh.
I think again it's a case of the youthful Legends versus the wily GLCC. The Legends, as everyone pointed out, Legends is they have a very good fielding side. They're young, and compared to GLCC, they have all the experience. That I think that is what separates these two teams. But fielding is, as we discussed before, fielding is going to be very key here. Is going to be the key thing. And coming to batting, GLCC I think has a pretty experienced batting lineup. Only thing is they should bat without any pressure, meaning they should probably get a chance to bat first. That is when they can post a big total, and that is where Legends will be in trouble. They can put Legends in trouble under the able guidance of Samish, has been the leading wicket taker so far for GLCC.
Okay, with that we have concluded all the games, and all these analysis and all these predictions are just our opinions, and end of the day whoever plays better are going to win. So nothing personal here. Okay, and with that, before I conclude tonight's show, I'll go to each and every individual for the last word. I'll start with Imti.
Yes, Jagan. Just before I end the end comments, I just wanted to add one point for the GLCC Legends game. I just want to make a conditional statement here saying that if all the key players for Legends are available, I'm guessing Legends will win it, or else it will be a GLCC's game.
Do you have any inside information? Suddenly you made that statement.
I'm just... You cannot ask me such questions and put me on a spot.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah. All in all, I would like to thank all our listeners for staying up late and continuing to listen to our show. And I would again like to take this opportunity to congratulate all the playoff bound teams. All the best in this coming week. And again, rightly mentioned by Jagan, all the views that we expressed on this show are completely our own perspectives and point of view. So there is nothing personal. May the best team win on the given day, and all the best to all the players. Play safe, play hard, and good night to all our listeners.
Ravi.
Thank you everyone for listening for our prediction, and I would like to congratulate all the playoff teams and all the best for each and every team who made it to the playoffs and for the next match. So may the best team win. Thank you.
Vargo.
Yeah, a good season. Thank you, Thank you to the committee. I think the rescheduled games were organized really well. Thank you to all the teams too. I think most of the season was played in really good spirit. Good luck to all playoff teams. May the best team win.
Yep. Santosh.
Yeah, thank you, Jagan. Thanks for giving me this opportunity today. And I would like to congratulate all the teams for making it to this stage, and I wish them all the best in the playoff stage and going forward. Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks to the listeners.
Yeah. So before I conclude our show, and Satish, Legends captain, started, sledging me with his text. Okay. With that, I'll conclude tonight's show. Thank you all. I hope better team wins, and good luck to every team. Keep listening DCL Talk Show on DCL Radio. Good night once again.